What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's a pretty exciting day. I finally went and picked up my new rod bolts from Honda. So these are OEM rod bolts. Should have no issues torquing these down. They're brand new. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this guy over, get those old stretched bolts out of there, put these in, try to torque them down to the 40 foot-pounds that it calls for, and hope it goes a little bit better this time. So yeah, let's see what happens. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn the engine over to the correct orientation so I can get to these first two rods. Boom, and I can go ahead and replace those bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and move this a little closer so you guys can see a little better what's going on. Now you got a better idea. So I'm gonna take my small impact, pull these two old ones out here. So now we can go ahead and pop these guys out of here. Boom. Just like that. All right, so when I took that cap off, the rod did, I guess the piston and rod did slide down a little bit. That's completely okay. We can use the new bolts to kind of pull it back up and yeah, go from there. So there's the two old bolts. We're gonna go ahead and throw those away. Don't want those anymore. While they were doing this, creating problems. We'll grab our new ones here. Boom. All right, so there's our new rod bolts there. One thing to note, you typically want to put a little bit of oil on these when you tighten them down so you can get the proper torque. In this case, I'm just going to use a little bit of this assembly lube. Boom, and boom. All right. Want to make sure them bearings didn't move off this rod when it slid down a little bit, so let's go ahead and take this cap off. Okay, that bearing's good. Okay, both of our bearings are still good, still where they need to be, so we are good to go there. So we'll go ahead and put this back together. Boom. Okay. Bearings back in the cap where it belongs. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and run these down nice and gently. We don't want to torque them down by any means with the impact, just snug. Now we can get the torque wrench. Again, my buddy Dalton lended me this torque wrench. Super nice, snap-on digital torque wrench. So big shout out to Dalton for that. Go ahead and set it for 40 foot-pounds because that's where we want to be. Already there from last time, so let's see if hopefully we can get these guys all the way up to 40 foot-pounds because last time we could not. It's 22. There's 30. About 37. Okay, so we hit about 36 and it getting tighter again, just like what happened with the other bolts. So now I'm wondering if maybe it's 34. Same thing, I only went to 36. Something doesn't add up here, guys. I don't know what's going on with these things. I need to, I guess, double check that the torque spec I got is actually right, but 40 foot-pounds is what I've got, so I'm gonna do some research here and see if I can find something else. All right, guys, so as it turns out, I just found another form with torque specs for the rod cap bolts, and everybody on there is saying 29 foot-pounds is the torque spec for those guys, not 40, so that makes a lot of sense as to why I can't get them to 40. So we're going to go ahead and re-torque these guys down to 29. We'll do 30, just to be a little extra safe, because I'm still not sold on that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and torque them down to 30. And call it a day on that. So we're going to go ahead and get these guys up to 30 foot-pounds. I guess we didn't really even need to buy new bolts, but better safe than sorry, and at least we have them now. There's 30. And 30. Okay, that's 30 foot-pounds on all of them. So we're all torqued down, we're all ready to go, and we can continue on with building this thing. So sure, we're still turning over nice and free. Everything feels good. And this thing is about ready to make some power, guys. Heck yeah. Cool. Next thing we're going to be doing is we'll put the oil pump back on the front. We'll put all the accessories back on the front of the engine. Put the oil baffle, the oil pickup, the oil pan back on. And then we'll be able to start working on getting the heads on here. And yeah. All right, guys. Today I'm back out here. We're going to get some more work done on this block. I'm just going to try to get the oil pump on and start getting all of the accessories on, get the pan and everything, and basically just button it up, get it ready for the heads to go on whenever I get those from the shop. All right, guys, so first thing we want to do here is scrape all this old RTV off, or just gasket maker. So I got a little razor blade tool here for that. So we'll just go ahead and go around, scrape at all this. It's very soft, so it doesn't take very much to get it all off. It's just kind of like a rubber, almost like a rubber compound. But we don't want to leave any of the old stuff on there because the new stuff will not seal properly if this old stuff's on there pushing the oil pump up when we go to put it on. So yeah, it'll create a gap. And we don't want any of that, so just go around and make sure we get it all off. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't see any more sticking up anywhere. So we should be able to go ahead and try to put the new one on. Which first we're gonna have to put gasket maker onto the new one to replace all of this gasket maker that we're taking off, obviously. So yeah, we'll go grab that. All right, guys, so we got our oil pump here and our gasket maker. So what we need to do is, I already cleaned all the old gasket maker off, so now we're gonna go ahead and open this up and make ourselves a new gasket. So we don't want to put a whole bunch on there. We just want to cover the whole outside, surround all the bolt holes, and all the other holes that I don't want any oil to be able to get through. So all of them are going to be surrounded. Sorry, can't talk today, so that's cool. And yeah, but I don't want to put too much on there. There's definitely a limit here, so just try to keep it as consistent as possible. Work it up into the spray nozzle here. You can see I'm just trying to make a relatively even path all the way around, and then as quickly as possible we'll get it on there, finger tighten all the bolts like I said, and then we'll come back in an hour and get it torqued up. Alright guys, so I got my oil pump here with the gasket maker on it. So now we're going to go ahead and put it on. So I don't want to touch any of the gasket maker or mess it up any way, shape, or form here. Okay. Now we can take all of our bolts here, boom, and run them in finger tight. So I'm going to use my small 3/8 impact and just run them in until they're not quite snug, but definitely in. Okay. Now, like I said, we're gonna let it sit for an hour like that, and then we'll come back, torque all of that down. Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this gasket off of here, get the bottom of the block prepped. We can get the oil baffle on, we can get the oil pickup on, and then, yeah, we'll come back and torque those guys down here in a little bit. Our oil baffle, go ahead and set that on there. Them with the small impact. Just the equivalent of finger tight. I'm gonna have to actually move these up. Look at that, way easier. That's thinking with your dipstick, Jimmy. And there should be 3 of them left in there for the oil pickup. And there it is. All right, so we'll grab the oil pickup as well. I'm gonna make sure I didn't collect anything in the screen while it's been sitting down in there. O-ring still on it. And just, again, making them finger tight. I'm sure there's a torque spec for them, but I'm not really too concerned about it, as it's just the oil baffle and oil pickup. So we're just gonna go ahead and make sure they're good and snug. Relatively uniform all the way around using my hand torque wrench. Okay, that's about it, I guess. I don't know. I guess we could put the rear main seal on, but that's a kind of a pain. I was hoping to do that after it's down off the stand. And I think I still might actually have our nice new rear main seal here. So actually we're gonna go ahead and put the gasket maker around here on the rear main seal, and then we'll go ahead and put it on. I don't know about all that.
Neither here nor there. That mullet though. Mullet's huge.
It is there. 100% a mullet.
You thought about doing a mohawk?
I told Becky I wanted to for the wedding, but we'll see. We're taking full advantage of the downtime while we're waiting on the old engine to settle down over here. So, yeah. Nice. Love that. But yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. We're just chilling and grilling. I don't know. Alright guys, so I just torqued down the rear main seal, so now we can go ahead and take our gasket scraper again, and we're going to scrape all the surfaces one more time to make sure all of the old gasket maker is off. And when we put the rear main seal on, and when I put the oil pump on, some of the gasket maker kind of seeped out the bottom right here, so I got to scrape that. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the gasket maker run it around the whole bottom of the block, and then we'll grab the oil pan and throw it on. All right, guys, this is a way better angle. I wish I would have been using this angle the whole time that I've been building my engine, because you'd be able to see it a lot better, but here we are at the end of it. I got my gasket maker. Unfortunately, I lost the tip for it, so this is gonna be a mess, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get it as good as I possibly can all the way around so we have no leaks. I like to surround all the bolt holes with it. I know you don't necessarily have to do that, but I like to be safe so that way nothing leaks out past the bolts. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll get our oil pan and drop it down on top. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing. We'll go ahead and just run all the bolts around, just down to finger tight, let it sit for an hour, and then come back and torque all of them down. All right, guys, got the oil pan on. Now we're just gonna, like I said, let it sit for an hour, and then I'll come back out here, torque all the bolts down, and yeah, bottom end will be done. We'll have a fully assembled long block. So we're making lots of progress here, guys. All right, guys, so today we're gonna go ahead and start buttoning up all the accessories. So I got the water pump here for the engine. We'll go ahead and bolt it up onto here. We will get the timing gear on there. Maybe even the crank sensor and the oil pickup, or not oil pickup, sorry, the oil neck that goes to the oil filter housing. And then yeah, we'll just slowly start buttoning this thing up. We're basically out of stuff to do after that until we get the heads back from Mike. So yeah, we'll just get this stuff knocked out real quick and we'll have a fully completed long block. All right, guys, so there's basically nothing left that we can do to this block until we get the heads back from the machine shop. So this is it. We're done for now. So yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. There will be a part 3 whenever we get the heads back from the shop. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.